in World War II, these are our steel helmets that we had, and they were heavy. Don't think they weren't. They also had a fiberglass liner inside of them. Now, when we was in training, lots of times we didn't have to wear the steel part of it. We wear the fiberglass where we could, but we also had to wear the steel most of the time because that was part of the training. So you get, and they're heavy too, but they would deflect a lot of shrapnel. But anyhow, these helmets had a lot of usage. You know, we had some other usages for them too. You know, there's one thing about in the Army, you had to go to the bathroom whether you was fighting a war or not. You know, and that was no small order of business either. And so you wasn't usually where there was no bathrooms or anything like that. But there's one thing you had to have when you went to the bathroom. You didn't for number one, but number two, you had to have toilet paper. So there's one thing about any GI that was in service that was worth his salt. He kept his toilet paper folded up in the top of his helmet, his GI helmet. He always, any GI, that's where he kept his toilet paper, because that was a must. You had to have that. There's all there was to it, see. So you just put that wadded up in there. Whenever you was where there was toilet paper, everybody, you would always see the GI get a hold of a roll of toilet paper. He'd fold it up nice in there, put it up in his helmet, and he was prepared for the next emergency, see. And that was quite a deal in them days, you know, because usually if your battalion, if you were stuck overnight or something like that, you would dig a little slit trench someplace off, maybe 100 feet from where you was at, and then they'd put a long handle shovel down in the ground there and stick it down in, put a roll of toilet paper on. Also, these hats had a lot of these helmets. Very seldom you ever seen one of these helmets that was nice and green like this, because most of them had a burnt, scorched black top. And that was because these helmets, you used to shave in them. You'd cook a little chicken in it. If once in a while we'd cook a chicken over there, if we catch a chicken. When the Germans withdrew, of course, they had what they called, Hitler had what they called a scorched earth policy. They burned everything, and they killed everything. Every pig, cow, horse, everything was shot. You'd go through France, and everything would be turned up like that. They had to, so that there was nothing of any value left for the Allied forces, see. But once in a while, we'd catch a few chickens here or catch a chicken here or there. Else, if there was a native farmer there, we swap our fig rations, our C rations. In the bottom of the C ration, sometimes, or the K ration, sometimes you had a chocolate bar would come in there, or a fig bar, and we'd swap that for a couple of chickens because that would be a godsend to those people there. So we'd get a chicken and we'd take the chicken, cut his head off, and pluck him, get some hot water. We boil the hot water in here, so we could clean him up good, and then we'd take him and cut him all up good and put him in there. We had a little Coleman furnace. Every outfit had one on about that big around, about that high, and full of gasoline, and you pump it up, and you light it like that, and of course you put it under here, and all helmets was heated up red hot, and you heat some hot water in there. Where the water, you just got the water wherever you could, see, because we had a couple of pills we could put in the water, and it would purify it anyhow. Any water that there was, you could drop one of these pills in it, and the water was safe to drink anyhow, see, because you didn't know where you were going to get it otherwise. But we'd boil a chicken in there, and we also shaved in there. When it comes to shaving, you got a few minutes to lull in the activity. Put some water in there. It was kind of crude, but you shaved in there. When you get done, you dumped it out, put it up, put the helmet back, the liner back in it, put it back on your head and wore it, you know, see. And you've done everything in that. You washed your socks in that, because once in a while you had to wash your socks, you know. But these helmets were a great thing. They were good for a lot of shrapnel, and you done everything with them. And besides, you always sit on them whenever you stop someplace. You automatically had a chair and you just sit on them because you couldn't hurt them. That's all there was to it, see. That's the way you used to do it in the Army. We always had a good place to sit.